It's going.
Hey, babies. This is the smooth sounds of Big Luke and Tracy Ace coming at you live from two separate locations. Now, obviously, make sure everybody knows that we're at two separate locations. We just have almost the exact same lights in the background.
Great
Uh,
minds. We
I
we
missed
think
last.
alike.
Yeah, I missed last week. I apologize. I really did want to talk to that guest too, which sucks, but I did watch it, and because Manos Hands of Fate is one of my favorite shitty movies of all time. You got, Manos Hands of Fate and Rubber and The Room, and these are movies that you shouldn't want to watch, and you don't really want to watch them. But if you happen to across them, you got to watch them. They're just classics of. But you know, I started with one of my favorite things. I started having my daughter watch horror movies, or liked horror movies when she was really young. And the first one she watched was Evil Dead 2, and she loved the production mistakes. Like there's points where you could see Sam Raimi's brother was the big witch that was wearing a fat suit, and when she flips around, you can see the rig on her back, and when they're running through the house, you can actually see that it's a set from the roof. You can see people standing up in the gimbals and the rafters.
I love
So
seeing that kind of stuff.
yeah,
It's like a haha, but also like yay
yeah,
because it's yeah.
and I think that's something we're honestly losing. It's the same with music. Music and movies are kind of going the same route where they're technically perfect. Music today is technically perfect. Movies today are all technically just masterpieces, beautiful. They don't have mistakes in them, but they also don't have any soul. And music's the same way. They think going, hey, is soul in music. It's just they're not feeling it. You can tell these people ain't never been to church, they never had hard times or anything. And even if they did, whoever the producers, I watched this whole thing about auto tune that popped up in my YouTube, and it was disturbing how much these people cannot sing. Like it used to be, you could cover being a bad bass player, or you could cover being, you could like the band Boston and their first album. They said they knew how to play that album on their guitar. The guitar player said he knew how to play that album, but he didn't know how to play guitar. Like he was taught only how to play that album, and then he got really good over the years. But like now, you don't even have to. You don't have to be. You don't have to have talent, any talent
You
at
just have to
all.
look pretty.
Yeah, because there was this one where there's I don't know the names of modern musicians or modern
I don't either.
singers, but there's this girl that she's just sitting there going, it sounded just like that. And she's saying words. She's like, "I love you. You're the best. Yay." But then after the auto tune hit, it was like, "I love you," and I was like, "What the?" And then I think where it all ended for me was I was at playing a show the other night at Puckers, and the DJ put on, when I'm done, the DJ puts on dance
Yeah,
songs and country music, and there was an auto-tuned country song,
that's
and I'm
always
like,
cracked me up. It's like
I'm like, man, it used to, how do you celebrate talent when there's no talent? How are you going to auto-tune a country song? It's, I don't know.
well, it's kind of like how people tend to. It's the cheapening of the human experience that seems to be going on
Yeah.
throughout
Well,
everything.
yeah, it's just
So,
that everybody can be stars. Like I love TikTok. I do. I love TikTok, but I don't like people dancing to songs and lip syncing. And then the worst is when they're sitting back with, and there's somebody else. They like take a clip from a comedy set and they just lip sync to a comedy set or something. I'm like, that's not cool. What I dig is there is a lot of creative people on there. The Vantalord is one of my favorites. That guy's hilarious.
that's me.
Look up Vantalord next time you're on
You'll have
on
to
and yeah,
share it
there's
with
a
me.
whole he's having a whole feud because and it's stupid. It's so funny, and he's like involving hundreds of other people in this thing, and it's hilarious. And there's this dude. I can't remember his name, and he does these things called uh, like bad bars or something like that, where it's him as a rapper, but also him as the producer, and he just said, like they'll start playing a song that hits, and then he'll start rapping to it. It's like my booty scratch, so I itched it, and it was just
I
it's
think I have seen
so
that guy.
yes, and it's so, and then and when he's the producer, he's always just sitting there like, but there's 300 of those videos, and I'll watch them every time. But there's also some really really creative stuff on there. But what
I
like
can't
the
figure
two
out the technical aspects of TikTok. Like I've tried, and I think I'm just too old.
this 17-year-old girl and her 20-year-old sister made $27 million last year because of TikTok. And all they do is very white synchronized dancing. And it's disturbing because one of the girls is 17 and they always, they wear like sports bras and, Spanx pants or whatever. And, people are drooling over them. And I'm like, man, that girl's
Those are
17.
children.
Stop. Yeah. I was like, you made $28 million because of
Because people
pedophiles.
are gross.
Yeah. And it's stuff like that. Though there is some very talented dancers on there. Don't get me wrong. There's like I follow this. They look like it's brother and sister, and they look very similar actually. And they do like amazing choreographed like body movements and everything, and it's hypnotizing to watch. But they're both in their 20s, so I don't feel weird about that. But no,
See,
it's
I,
but
I
some of
I
those
really want to do parody TikToks of like all these like super popular TikToks where we try like we put the good TikTok on one side and then we do the big and funky version on the other side, and we kind of screw it up. Like there's
well,
this Russian woman who does plank dances, and they're impressive as heck. And you're watching it, you're like, oh, that doesn't look so hard. And then you try it, you're like, holy, oh my god,
well, no,
I forgot.
I think when it warms up enough, and now that Funk Master V is moving out of the big city, um, I think that we do need to do at least a weekend, a month of something like that, where we try TikTok challenges, we try to do the dances, because it'd be funny as hell
It
watching a
would
bunch
be.
of white people in their 40s trying to recreate this shit. So I mean, I do think there's value there in that, and that'd be
Big and
funny,
funky tries too hard.
yeah, and that would boost our algorithms and
Mm-hmm.
everything that and it's all about boosting those algorithms, getting as many eyes on
You
it.
gotta
And
get the numbers.
what was
Yeah.
weird was I always loved Wrestling with Ghosts, the TV show that we did,
Mm-hmm.
but I was don't tell Vinny this, and but I was his editing of those shows is brilliant. I mean, he really polished poop. That dude is a genius when it comes to editing and how to tell a story with editing. And
Mm-hmm.
but just the footage itself all looked like shit. So I was almost kind of always embarrassed to promote stuff so heavily that didn't have a great look. Now, we got to the hike, and I thought the hike was great, but I could understand why some people wouldn't like it. I could understand why most people wouldn't like it,
Most people are
because
lame.
well, yeah, and that's
I've learned that.
100%. That's 100% the reason. They're either lames or they're snobs. Like there
They're
was
judgy McJudgersons.
yeah, yeah. I saw one critique of the movie somewhere where it was like, well, I mean, the camera isn't even level.
How is that
So
a critique? Like
so the fuck what? We were
there's
fi-
multi-million-dollar
yeah.
freaking films that don't have level cameras.
I
That's an
filmed.
artistic choice.
I'm sorry. It was filmed on a $400 tripod with a $7,000 camera in the woods. What do you want from me? You want me to level? Makes you go, well, you know what they're talking about is a scene where like the logs in the cabin aren't parallel with the back. I'm like, go fuck yourself. You know, just
That's not even it.
you
That's
didn't
a
even
silly complaint. That's like,
did,
oh, Luke is too tall. That
yeah.
guy is too tall.
Well, to go with it is I got a comment on I wrestled a few matches against one of my favorite people that was ever in the wrestling business. His name's Nelson Frazier, and most people know him as he was Mabel or Viscera, and rest his soul. He said he's a friend of mine, and somebody sent me a match that was ripped off of a VHS tape from 2003 of me versus Mabel. And somebody just a month ago, to its credit, it's got like 10,000 views on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, which has my personal one, which
Heck yeah.
like it has barely any,
Yeah.
subscribers or anything. I barely do anything with it. It's more like a test channel. But the dude says, Big Luke didn't body slam shit. Mabel body slammed himself. And
That's
I'm like, do you understand pro wrestling? Do you really? Pro wrestling is fake, okay, but it's not. All right, it's not fake. It's choreographed violence.
yeah.
And at the time,
It's a dance.
I was fresh out of the police academy. I was about 6'8", about good solid 280. I just set the police academy leg press record at 1,255 pounds. I was in fucking shape, and I'm still not picking up a 525-pound man and body slamming him by myself. Okay, it's not gonna happen. I bet I at the time leg pressing 1,250, bench pressing 425. I'm still not picking up a 525-pound man by myself.
I
And
have to.
but the fact of the matter is Nelson Frazier was a name. People knew Nelson. They paid Nelson a lot of money to be at that show. They also paid me a lot of money, which is nice. But
Always.
usually those bigger name guys, especially a monster like him, because like I could stand behind the guy. I'm 6'8". I could stand behind the guy. You wouldn't see me. And he was a beast. But guys like that come to wrestling shows, do as little as possible, collect their money, and go home. That dude bumped for me 3 or 4 times. That never happens. I've wrestled King Kong Bundy about 5 times. Never once did that guy even consider bumping for me. All the monster names I worked, never ever considered. Nelson's like, all right, man, here's what I'm gonna do. You're gonna hit me with this shoulder tackle. I'm gonna bump. You're gonna roll over. I was like, what? You're gonna do what? You're gonna for me?
I love you, Luke. Hey,
what's up?
We need to talk about big and funky stuff, not
big
wrestling
and
stuff. We've got a premiere on Saturday. It's another screening.
Vinny gets off on this too, but we could talk to her blue in the face. People don't want to, we talk about her screening. Awesome. I do want to talk about screening because it's very unique.
It's at the Hall Cinema 7.
And it's cool.
On Saturday, the 22nd, $6 at the door, 7 p.m.
Which is this Saturday.
I am signing autographs for $20 a piece. I will give $10 from the proceeds from that to Big and Funky. And the other 10 will go to my very important things that I need to fund that I will not mention by name right now. Right. But those who know, and that it's a good reason to give me money.
Well, then cut half of it off because we don't need the 10 for Big and Funky. It's the 10 for yourself. Just keep the 10 for yourself.
It's going to the production company so we can like buy good stuff and like pay for ads or something or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, $6 at the door, 7 p.m. Hall Cinema this Saturday. You should be there. Now, although Luke and Vinny are not going to be there.
Yeah, I'll talk about that a little bit. Well, yeah, because we're lame because we want to put the last piece to the movie. This is going to be a Hacks Horror convention.
Yes.
There's going to be some special guests there from outside of the Big and Funky universe. Some horror, if you're into the horror genre, there's some kind of famous horror hosts that are going to be there. A couple actors. Hack always has a really good time, and he puts a lot of work and a lot of effort into his stuff. So, and if you want to, and I'm not saying if you want to see the WJHC, You want to
Everybody
see
wants to see that movie.
WJHC. This movie is, and I'm not saying this because I co-directed it, but this movie's fucking amazing. And I didn't think it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a mess. I thought, but it was like, if you ever watch the 40-year-old virgin, they talked to I forget the lead actress in that, but she goes, we showed up and shot a bunch of scenes, and I was like, how is this ever going to be a movie? And then I watched, and then she goes, and then I watched the theater cut, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of a movie. Then I watched the director's cut that they released. She goes, and she said, and I can't believe I'm in that movie. It was so damn good. And that's kind of how this was. It was like, I forgot that I was in the movie. I'm watching the movie going, that guy's funny. Wait a minute, when did
Oh, wait, that's me.
when did I say that? But if you can check out the nerd on our Facebook page, check out the interview with the Nerdy Old Man podcast that was just released, and those guys get it, and I don't know what it is, they love our movie. You're really good. They love our stuff, but
They're sending me a T-shirt.
I can't believe how they saw the movie once, like everybody else.
Twice. They watched it. They watched it the night before they interviewed us, and then they watched it again the next morning. And he would, crap. I'm so terrible with names. But the not Redneck West, but the other guy, crap, Brain.
But
he's going to be like, how rude. I'm so offended. But he was like, I laughed all over again. It was hilarious. Wes was like, I could listen to Nancy read the phone book. And I'm like, he.
Well, and just how they remembered the jokes and they caught all the intricacies. Everything that I was like, people aren't going to get that. But then they got it. And, they understood. And what I really like, and this is something I'm going to defend to the end, is the movie's in black and white. And stylistically and enjoyment-wise, I think people are going to enjoy it a lot better in black and white. I think it's a better movie in black and white. And it feels like Clerks. But it actually looks a lot better than Clerks. But to me, it feels like, when I saw it, I felt like the first time I watched Clerks, which is a movie that changed everything for me. When I actually caught it in theaters in the South Side of Chicago, and I watched that movie, and I was like, oh. But it was not just the movie; it was everything behind them. It was like, these guys just made a movie. You could just make a movie.
You're right. Like you don't have to get permission.
Like Kevin Smith went to like a month of film school and said, I can do this, which is great. But
that's funny because that's what I'm doing this semester is I'm taking filmmaking classes, and I'm like,
and they'll teach you a bunch of pretentious shit that you don't need to know. But
no, that's not what they're teaching.
But January 22nd, which is this Saturday, in Hall Cinema at 7:00, you definitely want to go see WJHC-AM, and it's going to be a great time. You won't be there. My son's like, I'll be there. I was like, no, you won't be there because I'll be in Arkansas. You're going to drive yourself? No, I'm going to go with you. Yeah, this movie we think is going to be so good, but it's missing one little piece to the puzzle that it doesn't need, but it wants. But it wants. And me and Funk are going to take off at 2 a.m. tomorrow night, drive all the way to something Springs, Arkansas, Hot Springs, Arkansas, film a scene, and then drive back. That's how much we believe in this movie, that we need just this one. Because, like I said, everybody's story wrapped up beautifully. Yours wrapped up. Yours is your story arc and the finish of it, heartbreaking. I mean, it is pretty much the beating heart of the movie.
It's art imitating life. What?
And
sorry,
but their Sister Christian didn't have a wrap up, and the reason we didn't have a wrap up is because we thought she was just going to be another kind of throwaway character. We didn't realize the impact she. I mean, when we tested the crowd after the premiere, everybody's like, "Oh, that's Sister Christian, man! Oh man, that's Sister Christian."
I could have told you that while we were filming, but okay.
Well, And said I can't
Next
say
time
this
I'll
enough.
mention it.
I can't say that this enough is that her scene was improv, 100% improv, and it was so fucking good.
I almost peed my pants on multiple occasions.
Yeah. Well, when I was filming it, that was the hard part. Filming is I'm sitting there going,
Like turning purple from holding your breath from trying
yeah.
not to laugh. So funny.
When she reaches up and turns the Jesus statue around, I felt my butthole pucker. I was like, what the? You know? Yeah, that girl's a pro, and I hope we can use her in other stuff. So,
Oh yeah,
but
absolutely.
and then I did just to get a little personal here. I suffer from like I'm a laid back guy, man. I'm like, I try not to care
You
about
suffer
things
from that?
too much. No, but what happens is because I kind of take everything on my shoulders as much as I can and try to prioritize everything in life. Every once in a while, the darkness catches up with me, and that was yesterday. And yesterday, I'm not going to go into the things that have happened in my life because you would cry, but beyond cry, I've been through some shit, and I'm not talking about like
We've
my
talked
wife
about it
left
a few times.
yeah. I'm not, yeah, but I'm to everybody out there. I'm
Yeah,
not talking like my
yeah.
wife left me shit. I mean, even though that's happened 2, 3 times, but there's some real shit that's happened, and occasionally it all catches up to me. And so I tried to sit back and think, and I wrote a Facebook post yesterday that so people can read through and if they want to catch up with it, but that is going to be the heart of our next movie. I almost feel now blessed by yesterday, by the depression of yesterday, because I found the heart of Camp Smoke.
Oh God.
And so it's one of those things where it's weird how I feel like Big and Funky, we're blessed and we're cursed because things fall into place for us all the time, and just the stars align all the time for us
Divine
with
intervention.
things. Yeah, but also we are destined for the stars to align and everything to go right for minimal success. It's,
It's just enough.
yeah, just enough to
We get
keep
fair
us
to
going.
Midland.
But this is another one of those things where I feel like it was divine intervention. I feel like I had to have, because I wrote 4 different scripts for Camp Smokey that I was not happy with, and then yesterday happened, and I'm like, oh, there it is, there it is,
Found the sweet
there
spot.
it is. Yeah. And like, so now I'm going to think that Camp Smokey is going to be another very special movie. It's not after you watch WJHC and if you've seen The Hike or you watch The Hike, you're going to be like, oh, it's going to be another comedy, blah, blah. No,
It's not funny.
not at all. It's going to be, we're going to play on some things. You might find a few things amusing, but it is not a comedy.
It's going to be an acting challenge.
Shut up!
We're live, Mikey. Be quiet.
But no, and honestly, the because it's going to be a movie about a killer out kind of. All right, hold on. It's gonna be based off of slasher movies, but the whole key to the movie now is it is a metaphor for depression.
Okay.
The whole movie is going to be a metaphor
Don't give away the whole
mental
thing.
illness and depression.
Okay.
So, well, I mean but it's just like people can watch WJHC and not realize that the whole point behind that movie is redemption. The moral story of that is redemption, and The Hike, the whole moral story behind that is that if we talk to each other, we can avoid tragedy.
Communication is key.
Yes.
That's the code for The Hike.
That's what's funny about our silly ass fart joke movies is they all have a very serious meaning behind them.
Mm-hmm.
And but instead, we cover it up with jokes about bestiality.
Hey, I want to explain to everybody because I put in the description for tonight's episode that it was going to be the ladies at Big and Funky. Well, Candy was going to make it and Amber was going to make it, and they both bowed out at the last minute. Thankfully, Luke was here to save the day.
Are you trying to say
And
that I'm not a pretty lady?
I didn't say you're not a pretty lady. I
All
just said
right,
that you're not a
well,
lady. Or the ladies of Big and Funky. You're
that's
big of
that's
Big and
bo-
Funky.
that's mighty bold of you to assume
Did
my
I misgender you? I'm so sorry, darling. Please
you're
don't be
dead
offended
name.
because I called you darling.
Now you're dead
Darling.
naming me because my drag name was Darling.
Well, but okay. I'm I'm sorry.
It was Fart McGee for a while, and now
Bart
it was
McGee.
Darling.
My
Yeah,
derby name was Serendipity.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
I've had the worst wrestling names. Like I was Lucifer. That was just big.
Was it
I did
spelled like loose, as in like not
no
tight?
Lucifer, just like Satan, and then
Oh.
they stole that whole gimmick and made it Undertaker's brother Kane. And then I became Big Ass Luke. I did like Big Ass Luke. That was a fun gimmick.
Did you actually have a big ass at the time?
No, I was actually quite in shape at the time, but it
Well,
was just
then,
funny to be Big Ass Luke, you know,
okay.
because back then, like swearing and saying ass was still like, and you know, it was like, oh my god, he said ass. And then, but then when it moved to Tennessee, it was funny as hell. As I made my debut, and they didn't know who I was. You know, it was kind of a surprise debut. And I go
Mhm.
over to the microphone, and the guy is like, "What's your name?" I was like, "It's Big Ass Luke." He goes, "Oh, we can't say that. You can't."
So that's how you became Big Luke?
Yeah, so I was like, "All right, it's Big Luke,
Nice.
I guess." Which is, yeah, Tennessee wrestling was fun because I learned like really quickly, like hell is a bad word here. Like I grabbed a referee at one time. I goes, "What the hell are you doing?" And people left the show.
Oh my God.
And I was like,
Wow.
where are you going,
Yeah,
guys?"
for a little while growing up, yeah. But I I always asked about that. I was like, how is hell an expletive? Because to my knowledge, it's actually a location. How can a location be a bad word?
I don't know. People got the message wrong.
That's
You know
supposed to
that.
be a
If
physical location.
if we get into all that, well, you know, you've got to get out of here in
Yeah,
three
I
minutes. So
do.
if, but you
I
know,
only I can't do long tonight.
yeah,
I can't go
people,
long.
but we know as people that love the Lord that they got the message way wrong. You know, I was talking to a guy the other day about Catholicism versus Christianity, and I said, look, we got our flaws too, but you know, everything that Catholic priests do in front of a congregation is specifically said don't do in the Bible. And I was like, but hey, my people, my Baptists, we aren't immune from it because Jesus himself said, don't stand on the corner and don't be a street preacher. He specifically said, do not stand in the corner yelling about God. You know, and my people do that all the time. You
I
know,
like the judge not lest you yourself be judged, and let he
yeah.
who
What
is
is it?
without sin cast the first stone. And yet, so many self-professed Christians are all like, "Oh, I'm gonna judge you, and I'm gonna tell you what you've done wrong," and all. And it's like,
Hey, I'm going to go ahead and say that you know, Mark, the book of actually all the you know those five books that are the same, but you know, basically in the book of Mark it says, you know, go in your closet, go in your pray in your closet, and you'll be rewarded in public. I have a feeling that's what's going on in my life. You know, I try to pray. I try to keep my stuff to myself. If somebody wants to talk to me about the Lord, we're going to talk, but I'm not going to bring it up. You know,
I will continue to invite people to church. I go to Union Grove United Methodist Church. We have a very, very, very small congregation. We would love to welcome you at my church. We're
I
not
don't go to
judgy.
church.
We're a reconciling ministry. We are really nice. We have pride flags on the walls. Please, like, come visit our church because we love everybody.
I found one of the coolest churches in Tennessee is right in my area. I used to go to it, but there were still things in there that we couldn't reconcile between us. So I don't go
Well,
to church.
you should come and check out my church.
No,
My pastor's really cool.
No, because you live like 8 years away.
It's not 8 years. That's like it's saying 12 parsecs. What the
Dude,
hell?
if you want to see my church, just watch Camp Smokey when it comes out. Watch The Hike. That's where I go to pray. Those exact places in those in those movies are where I go to pray.
Well, I need to actually get out of
Tracy's
here.
got to get out of here, so I'm
Yeah.
going to go ahead and get out of here as well. And
But
again, this is
we're gonna
this is
repeat.
Big Luke, and that's Tracy over there, and we are coming from completely different locations. See, those are my guitars. That's her room over there. We just happen to have the same lights.
And we've got a screening of WJHC-AM at the Hall Cinema for Hack's horror show. He's putting on a thing, and he's including us. He's kind enough to include us. It's $6 at the door. Everybody should come and be involved and see the film. Be a part of the Big and Funky family. Baby. Buy an autograph. I have silver Sharpies specifically for that reason.
Well, I feel bad that I have the movie poster that we used at the premiere hanging on my wall. I'd let you take it and use it over there, but it's mine, and I'm never getting rid of it.
I see how you are. I need a poster. I want a poster.
Just think, there's a picture of you hanging over my bed. Creepy.
That is a little creepy.
Yeah. This is why it's seen some things.
I don't want to know what it's seen.
It hasn't seen anything. It's seen me fart in my sleep.
It's seen you cuddle with Baby Yoda.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I love my Baby Yoda. I got another one right here that it goes and whines.
Oh, you got the talking one? I got my son, my youngest son, the talking one for Christmas year before last. Yeah.
I'm 46 years old and I still sleep with a plushie. So, all right, guys, we'll talk to you if you're in Gatlinburg tomorrow, or you want to come to Gatlinburg tomorrow. I got a show. I play every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and most Saturdays at Pucker's. Going to have some other special shows coming up outside of Gatlinburg and Sevierville and stuff. So, or any other night, Tuesday, Thursdays, you can catch Henry Bombat, and you want to catch Henry Bombat because he's awesome. He's a crazy Asian. We love him. He's going to do some scoring for the next few movies. So, guys, there's plenty of chances to come hang out with me. I don't promote things to be like, hey man, go, give me money. I don't give a shit about money. I got money.
I like money.
I want to hang out with y'all. So come out, hang out. If you're planning a vacation, if you're watching this from Ohio or Illinois or something, planning a vacation, hey man, just hit me up. We'll hang out. Come to my shows, and if you want to play music, if you want to bring your guitar, do that too, man. It's cool. And we love you guys. We'll catch you on the flip side. And as Arlo would say, far out, man.
Far out.
Yeah. No. Yeah.